Mercy. It's 12:15. Now, yesterday, of course, the news broke of the dad who lost his legal challenge against a fine for taking his daughter on an unauthorised term time holiday. The Supreme Court ruled against John Platt, who'd won earlier legal battles against a £120 fine in a case brought by the Isle of Wight Council. Now, whilst discussing this on the show, you gave varied opinions on this, with one caller, Jamie, even admitting he told white lies to get his children out of school during term time.
Holidays within holiday periods are just so expensive that, in the past, what we've actually had to do is sort of give the kids a sick day maybe on the Friday and the Monday and sort of have a long weekend. I think we've probably had to do that on a couple of occasions.
Now, a lot of parents and grandparents 30 or 40 years ago had annual holidays during term times, and it seemed to never affect their education. Former Derbyshire head teacher Richard Gerver had some fascinating stats when it comes to taking children out of school during term time.
Based on research carried out by a physicist called Dr. Becky Smith, who drew on the Department of Education's own data from between 2009 and 2014. The report she published was specifically focused on children coming to the end of their primary school education. And the report said this: 78.7% of children who didn't go on holiday during their final year, so leading up to their end of Key Stage 2 tests, 78.7% of those students achieved expected levels at the end of their primary school education. Interestingly, though, of the children who did take a holiday during the final year of their primary school education, 82.2% reached expected levels.
Now that's fascinating, isn't it? So it would seem, and this is based on the final year of primary school, those children who had gone on holiday during term time actually did better than those who didn't. Well, do the facts speak for themselves? One mum who's taken her daughter out of school for an entire year says she's giving her the chance to explore different cultures and countries at the age of just 11. Sarah Crofts has been travelling the globe with her daughter Tabitha, as she wanted to spend some quality time with her after a number of tragedies in the family. And Sarah and Tabitha are on the line now. You're in Seville, aren't you? Good afternoon.
Hi, yes, we are. We've been here for a couple of days now.
Oh, just describe what it's like in Seville right now.
It's extremely hot and very busy. The city is gearing up for Holy Week next week. So we have arrived here after 10 weeks in Morocco. We got back to Spain at the end of last week. So a little bit of reverse culture shock, but we're really enjoying being back in Europe.
Oh, we are all absolutely jealous hearing that right now. Now, before we go into what you're up to, what you've been up to so far, let's just be clear about this. You're doing this all above board. You're homeschooling Tabitha, just to get this straight. This is not just a holiday.
No, absolutely. I formally deregistered her from her primary school in West London before we left on the trip, and she is being homeschooled.
What was the reaction you got to that? Even though it's all been done legally, it's all above board what you're doing. What was the kind of reaction you got?
We have yet to really have any negative reactions from anybody. During the deregistration process at school, the teachers I spoke to were very positive about what a great experience it would be for her. People that we've met whilst we're traveling, that's retired people, other families. We've met several other families that are also traveling and home educating. And we actually try to plug into home education groups and communities, so where we're able to then meet other families and Tabitha can hang out with other kids for a while. We haven't received anything negative, lots of questions and lots of positive reactions.
And the whole idea of doing this, Sarah, was brought about through, isn't it? It's quite often the case through tragedy. You suddenly reminded of the value of spending quality time with your loved ones.
Absolutely, yes. We were living in London. I had a pretty high stress, long hours job, au pair, in order to support me in that career. But there was a nasty accident within the family that affected my brother. That was a bit of a wake-up call. And also various friends were being diagnosed with some, and other family with very serious illnesses. And it made me realise that, you don't know what's around the corner. I hadn't been spending as much time with Tabitha as I wanted to, or she with me. And this was a great opportunity to have a year together, exploring before she starts to become more independent, not want to hang out with her mum so much,
Yeah, unfortunately, that time will come, of course. We'll talk more about what you've been up to with your travels. Just spent 10 weeks in Morocco, now just arrived in Seville in Spain. Oh, I'm so jealous. We'll talk more with Sarah and Tabitha in a moment about what they've been up to on BBC Radio Derby.